Because you crazy.
Ladies, got somebody call and want to tell you happy birthday. So,
It's Beyonce. It's Beyonce.
That's Shedeur want to tell you happy birthday.
Hey, thank you so much. Perfect time. I don't have my watch on. Perfect time. Perfect time. Thank you guys so much. Y'all go. Go. Ain't no way. Perfect time. What he said.
Apparently, Shedeur Sanders can't even pull off a wholesome birthday surprise without the internet acting like he broke a federal law. He shows up for a fan, does something genuinely nice, and suddenly Twitter's finest are popping up like they're auditioning for CSI, Sanders Unit. You'd think he crashed the party, devoured the cake, and ran off with the balloons. But no, he just surprised someone. Somehow that simple act morphed into the most scandalous birthday gesture of the year, proving once again how eager people are to twist his every move.
I hear what all y'all saying. My name is Willie B, man. Hey, he the real deal. Real deal. That's coming from Willie. That's coming from Willie. Hey, now how y'all feel now? How y'all feel now? No matter what he do, how you feel now? That man playing for his daddy. All you haters, if you hate Shedeur, you hate football. How can you not love that story? Deion Sanders. Absolute legend, icon.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. NFL leadership and player management clearly can't handle the ripple effect Shedeur Sanders creates. It's as if he strolled into their boardroom, flipped on the lights, and announced, "Surprise, I'm exactly what the fans have been waiting for." Suddenly the executives are clutching their pearls like someone dumped soda on the company carpet. They're rattled by the fact that Sanders treats fans as real people, not just metrics on a spreadsheet. That simple authenticity has them spiraling, scrambling to contain it, like a cat trapped in a room full of rocking chairs. Every move he makes shakes up their carefully scripted world.
Just get back out there after, having to kind of sit around a little bit and not be able to do everything you previously.
Yeah. It felt fun. I did everything in my power, to get out there and be ready for this week, one last time with this group.
How is that week been?
It's feeling good. Yeah, everything's good. In life, it's always gonna be pain. It's always gonna be things, adversity, things that's gonna knock you down sometimes, but the main thing about it is you just gotta push through it. There's a lot of people in this world that's going through stuff, but, I'm playing for a lot more than just me, so regardless of pain, that's always how I've been, even in college, so in high school and everything from when I was young. Regardless of physically, if I don't feel my best, I still gotta go out there and execute with no excuses.
Shedeur isn't just throwing passes, he's throwing the NFL's entire control manual straight out the window. The league has a tidy little system where players are groomed to smile, toe the line, and never outshine the shield. But Shedeur? He's out here crashing the script, showing up at birthdays, snapping photos, making fans cry happy tears. And now the NFL looks like the cranky neighbor yelling, "Turn that music down," while the block party only gets louder. His authenticity highlights just how outdated their playbook is, and it's driving the suits crazy because they can't rein it back in.
One of the most important things that I have learned as a young, Black, successful entrepreneur is that when it comes to operating in this very exclusive world of people who do not look like me, I've had to learn how to humble myself in order to get shit done. This is really important because the commentary around Shedeur Sanders, where people are like, oh, he's being blackballed by the NFL, his dad, etc. I'm not an NFL watcher, I will admit, but one thing I did notice when I saw that young man on draft day, you're coming through with the biggest $500,000 chain on, you have Shensia by your side.
It's almost comical because you'd think the NFL would eat this up. Free publicity, ecstatic fans, players forging real connections, that's marketing gold. But instead, whispers start that Shedeur is too much of an influencer, as if that's a crime. Imagine being scared of a quarterback who can launch touchdowns on Sunday and trend on TikTok by Monday. That's basically the league's nightmare scenario. They want athletes predictable, not viral, polished, not magnetic. Shedeur, though, is smashing that mold like it's wet clay, showing the next generation that you don't have to shrink yourself to fit the Shield's outdated image.
A clear example of a man and the type of man that I have a lot of respect for is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur is a multi-millionaire already by not doing anything, by just being born and existing, because his father had paved the way for him and all of his brothers and all his siblings in general to eat. But he's not out here hustling like he's already a millionaire. He's out here hustling like he has nothing. It takes a different level of discipline to already have made it in life, but then to choose to keep hustling to make it even more.
The real fear isn't even about Shedeur being different. It's about what happens if other players realize they can do the same. Because let's be real, if Shedeur can pull this off, what's stopping everyone else from building their own empire outside the league's control? Suddenly, instead of the NFL being the big boss with all the power, players become walking brands with their own audiences, their own influence, and, worst of all, their own freedom. That kind of independence has the NFL sweating harder than a coach in overtime. And here's the funny part, the league can't even spin it against him properly. They can't say he's selfish because he's literally giving back to fans. The optics are so bad, the NFL looks like the villain in a cartoon, wagging their finger while the hero rescues kittens from trees. It almost feels like the league executives are jealous. Think about it, these guys sit in their offices writing memos and crunching revenue reports, while Shedeur gets mobs of fans screaming his name, lining up for selfies, and blasting clips of him online. It's not just football anymore, it's culture. He's become bigger than the uniform, and that drives them nuts.
Yeah, going to
He didn't want me to come. He's like, Dad, I may get 3-4 reps in practice. I don't want you seeing that. Like, come on, no, I'm not where I need to be. Let me get where I need to be. And it's so funny because this is his first time, man, ever. And he's dealing with it like a pro. Like he ain't mad, he ain't bitter. He's like, I got work to do, and I'm gonna put in this work. One thing, they gonna have to let me play. Preseason gonna come. And when preseason come, watch me work. I'm like, I already know what you're gonna do. I ain't worried about that. I know. But he didn't want me to come.
The NFL has always wanted to be the star of the show, with players just rotating characters in their never-ending soap opera. But Shedeur? He flipped the script and made himself the headline. And if you think that doesn't terrify them, look at how they've treated other athletes who dared to build something beyond the league. The NFL loves to say they're a family, but the second you shine brighter than the Shield, you suddenly become a problem child. They'll never admit it, but what they really want is players who are grateful robots, throw ball, make touchdown, thank organization, repeat. Shedeur's energy is the exact opposite of that. He's unpredictable, he's magnetic, and most of all, he's authentic. And it eats the NFL alive because no amount of commercials or halftime shows can manufacture what he does naturally. So now you've got executives scrambling, trying to paint him as some influencer like it's an insult. But in reality, being an influencer is the new power move. We're living in an age where one Instagram post can reach more people than a Monday night football broadcast. One viral clip can turn a regular player into a global superstar overnight. And Shedeur figured it out before they did. That's what really burns them, the kid beat them at their own marketing game without even trying. And let's not forget the irony here. The NFL has been trying for years to get younger audiences hooked, throwing in flashy halftime acts, experimenting with Nickelodeon slime broadcasts, and even putting games on streaming platforms. But none of that hits like Shedeur showing up in person for a fan. None of it has the same authenticity or energy. What makes this whole situation so funny is that the NFL keeps underestimating how much power players actually hold now. Back in the day, if you weren't on TV, you basically didn't exist. Now, one player with a phone and a following can shape narratives, build loyalty, and create a fanbase that's bigger than a franchise's. And Shedeur's mastered that balance between athlete and personality, which makes him a double threat. He's not just competing on the field. He's competing for relevance, and he's winning. That's why calling him an influencer isn't the insult they think it is. If anything, it's a compliment. They might as well say, he's too successful at connecting with people, please stop. It's the equivalent of your boss being mad that you're too good at your job because it makes everyone else look lazy.
There's a difference in between being humble and being humbled. Like the world tried to humble Shedeur Sanders, the drafters and the scouts and the evaluators, but he just used it to be humble in the way he went about work, the composure, the poise, and the way that he's handled his situation, being the fourth quarterback throughout this, he's not ruffled any feathers. He's shown that he could be a leader. He's shown that he understands he has to earn it. He's told Dion, hey, you gotta wait. And the people talking about whether or not this opportunity is a setup, they don't understand ball.
And let's be real, Shedeur doesn't need their approval. He's got fans, he's got culture, he's got the spotlight, and the league can't take that away no matter how many board meetings they hold. The more they push back against him, the more obvious it becomes that they're scared. Scared of losing control, scared of players realizing their worth, and scared of being exposed as the outdated, stiff brand they've been clinging to for decades. Shedeur is a living reminder that times have changed, and the old playbook doesn't work anymore. Fans want personality, connection, and authenticity, and he delivers that without breaking a sweat. At this point, the NFL might as well lean into it because the alternative is looking like a bunch of bitter gatekeepers who can't handle progress. And maybe that's the funniest part of all. For all their rules, regulations, and billion-dollar strategies, the thing unraveling the NFL's grip on players isn't a scandal, isn't a lockout, isn't even a lawsuit. It's Shedeur Sanders showing up to a birthday party with a smile. That's what has them shaking. That's what has them nervous. And that's what proves that sometimes, the simplest gestures carry the most power.
I gotta say this real quick. You were right, and I was wrong. We ain't never seen nothing like shit.
I told you. Let's go.
Because when you said that early on, I'm like, what are you talking about? They carried the games in Oklahoma, but that was just Oklahoma. That was for Baker. It was like the Oklahoma fan base. They carried the games in Norman, Browns games in Norman. I'm like, that was just as big.
Are you telling me that this is the biggest circus the Browns have ever been a part of?
Yes.
Jay, you not.
Yes.
Wait, because I remember, like, I'm not draft.
I told you.
I remember the Deshaun Watson circus.
No, that was a different.
That was a hold up. But
because of what he brought with him.
Yeah.
They say Shedeur is just the person who has fame. Like he woke up one morning, tripped over some TikTok dances, and landed in stardom by accident. That's the line they want to push, he's all glitz, no grit. But let's be honest, if fame alone got you onto a football field, half of Hollywood would be quarterbacks by now. If fame was the only currency, then every influencer with a ring light and a skincare routine would be running plays on Sunday. Spoiler alert, they're not. The thing about Shedeur that drives people crazy is that he actually has the skills to back up the spotlight. Fame can get you attention, sure, but it can't buy you accuracy in the pocket. Fame doesn't read defenses. It would ruin their whole narrative. They'd rather pretend he's some kind of Kardashian quarterback, famous for being famous, than accept that he can actually ball. Because if they admit he's skilled, then suddenly the conversation changes. It's no longer, oh, he's just popular with fans. It's, wait a second, this guy might actually be dangerous on the field and off it. And that's too much for them to handle. They'd rather live in denial than face the reality that Shedeur is more than just a headline. It's almost comical watching analysts twist themselves into pretzels trying to downplay what he does. He'll drop a dime right into a receiver's hands, and they'll say, well, sure, but that's just because the defense was weak. He'll dodge a sack, scramble, and turn it into a highlight reel play, and they'll go, he just got lucky. At some point, you've got to wonder if they're watching the same game. Or maybe they've got the screen brightness turned down so low they can't actually see the throws. What they don't want to admit is that skill is what makes the fame sustainable. Fame without skill burns out. We've seen it a million times. Someone goes viral, everyone talks about them for a month, and then poof, gone. But Shedeur keeps stacking up performances. He's not riding a wave, he's building a resume. Like he's juggling 2 part-time jobs, influencer by day, quarterback by accident. But if it were that easy, the league would be full of guys doing both. Spoiler, it's not, and they're not. The other part they don't want to admit is that Shedeur's fame actually makes his skill more impressive, not less.
There is no success without an opportunity. And there is no such thing as luck when they say preparation meets opportunity. But this man's been preparing for this moment his entire life. And think about the amount of Shedeur Sanders jerseys that have been sold. Think about the way people watch that game. Those are not Cleveland Browns fans. Those are Shedeur Sanders fans. And the owner, Jimmy Haslam, said, you know what? Andrew Berry made this pick. And if I'm Andrew Berry, I'm rubbing my hands like Birdman, right? Because we all knew who this man was. We all knew what he'd accomplished. We all knew what he was made of.
Because it's one thing to perform when nobody's watching. It's another to do it with cameras in your face, with every move dissected online, with millions of people waiting to pounce on the first mistake. That pressure crushes most people. But Shedeur thrives in it. He turns that spotlight into fuel. The brighter it gets, the sharper he plays. That's not luck, that's a rare mentality that you can't teach. Deep down, the haters know it too. That's why they keep moving the goalposts. First, it's he's only popular. Then it's well, let's see if he can handle real competition. Then he does, and it becomes, okay, but can he do it consistently? And when he keeps doing it consistently, the silence gets awkward. They'll never outright admit they were wrong, they'll just pivot to the next excuse like gymnasts flipping on a mat. They're trapped in their own hypocrisy, feeding the very machine they claim to hate. Shedeur doesn't even have to clap back, they're doing the work for him. The truth is, Shedeur is the kind of player who bends the system just by existing. He's skilled enough to make the old guard nervous, and famous enough to make them talk about him whether they want to or not.
Coming together, as you can see right now, for this event with the help of Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. He's right there. Now Sanders took to Instagram and made sure that people knew that this event was happening. He wanted the community to come out. This event is all about fun. There's music, there's food, there's games. It's all about communities coming together. Sanders said it was important to him to not only help these families that are in need, but to show their time, give his time, and get out here and touch the community, which is something the community itself appreciates.
There's a lot of people that didn't want me coming out here doing it, but I don't understand why. You know, God told me to come out here, so I'm never going to question his word.
I think it's wonderful.
That's a dangerous combo, because you can't erase one without the other. If you take away the fame, he still has the skill. If you deny the skill, the fame keeps forcing the conversation back. He's a problem they can't solve, no matter how much spin they try. At the end of the day, fame might open the door, but skill keeps you in the room. Shedeur didn't just walk through that door, he kicked it off the hinges and set up shop inside. And the league, the analysts, the haters, they can either get used to it or keep pretending their walls aren't crumbling. Either way, Shedeur isn't going anywhere, and the sooner they admit he's more than just a famous face, the less ridiculous they'll look when history proves them wrong.